Hey there, welcome to another edition of Fabulous Feature Friday. I'm Susan Bach, your host for this weekly event, and it's my distinct pleasure today to have a very special guest for you. Please join me in welcoming Maria. Maria Tomas-Keegan, thank you for being with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Susan. Thank you for having me.
It's delightful to have you here. I know we've been going back and forth to make this happen for some time, so now is the right time. For our viewers, I'd like to take just a moment to introduce you to Maria, give you a brief bio that she's provided to us, and then we're going to jump right into some pretty revealing questions about what Maria does and how she came into knowing her uniqueness. So Maria helps women whose world has been turned upside down by divorce, loss, career upheavals, retirement, or caregiving. She helps them step back into their power, find the joy again, and create their next chapter. Don't you love that? Through their work together, Maria helps women reduce the overwhelming feelings, regain their confidence, and renew their spirit so they can thrive. I just have such a sense of calmness, Maria, as I even read that. So please tell me about this message that you're conveying and how you came to know that this was your uniqueness.
You know, you said that I left you, when you read that, I left you with a sense of calm, and it's something I discovered about myself many years ago, but I never had a label for it. I hate labels, but I never knew what to call it until I did an exercise to discover my essence. And what I discovered is that my essence is calm inspiration. And it is what I have done for forever, I guess. I don't remember not doing it. I don't remember not being told that when I help someone, I instill them with a sense of calm. And I don't even try. It just is kind of who I am. And when I decided after my long corporate career to become a coach and mentor for women and help them through their upside downs of life, those major life transitions that we all go through, it just became even more evident that they need my calm. So I'm just delighted to be able to share it.
Congratulations, Maria, for honoring your uniqueness, for owning it, and for sharing this with the world. Because as you know, that's really my message. My brand is sharing your gifts, your uniqueness with the world, because that's a gift that the world needs. So congratulations, and I know the path you've taken to discover this and to turn this into a lucrative business has not been an easy one, which I believe gives you, again, perspective and empathy for the women that you're helping. So in my words, I would say that your uniqueness is to help women get over the ups and downs, the volatility of life that happens, and those events are not something that we can ignore or avoid. It's just part of life. So what do you want women to know about facing these tough situations in their life?
You know, I meet a lot of women who are toughing it out as they go through those major life transitions, those major life-changing events that you mentioned in my bio. It might be it might be stopping them in their tracks. And most women I know, myself included, we are tough women. And we put on a mask every day.
Every day.
Pretending we're fine, right? Saying, the mask with a smile and maybe a twinkle in the eye, saying, I'm okay. I'm okay. But inside, we're really not. And the emotions are raw, and they can surface at the most inopportune moments unless we deal with them in a way that supports us rather than derails us. So it took me a long time of toughing it out before I learned that these life situations are so much easier to get through when we get help to dig ourselves out. So many things came up for me that I just didn't know, I didn't know what to do with. I felt overwhelmed. Fear of the unknown, especially,
Sure.
stopped me in my tracks, and I stayed there until I read a few books. I tried a few techniques. I thought they might work for me. I put them into practice, but they didn't work. And that stopped me again. And, it was as though, I felt like giving up. Why even try? Let's
Oh,
just keep the mask on and pretend I'm fine, keep all the emotions stuffed down. And that's the way I lived for a while until I met a woman who literally, this is going to sound very dramatic, but she did save my life. She helped me turn things around because she had been there before, and she helped me adapt the techniques to me, to my unique situation. And she shared what she learned, and then I was able to discover that we can move through life's inevitable upside down moments with more ease and grace, and with a sense of calm that this is not forever and this can improve. It's when we learn how to do that, it's just amazing.
my experience has been much the same as yours. It was only when I these again my words, kind of gave in to the overwhelmness and said I really need help. When I finally said I cannot do this on my own. Why do you think, Maria, it is so difficult for us as women to say I can't do this on my own, or to ask for help?
If anyone is like me, we were raised that way, right? I know from my experience, I was taught to be strong. I was taught to tough it out, to just keep going, to, no matter what happened, to be the strong one. I grew up in a family with 3 older brothers, and I was the youngest and the only girl, and I heard that they should not cry. They're boys. They shouldn't cry. That's what I learned too. No one ever said that to me, but it was modeled to me. So that's how I learned to tough it out. Yeah, and I stuffed things down. So I believe that women are kind of we're in a position where we are required, we have so many roles in our lives, right? We're wives and mothers and daughters and aunts, and we are business women. We have staff, so that we're managers. We have lots of things, what plates twirling in the air. And if we were an emotional wreck all the time, all those plates would fall, and they'd probably break. And then where would we be? We'd be a mess. And I believe that most women are raised that that's not the kind of life they should lead, so they tough it out.
I hear that same story from so many of my clients. And sometimes the message is said directly to them, and sometimes it's how we interpret other messages, as you just suggested with what you heard for your brothers, and you integrated that into your being. So oftentimes the message isn't even directed to us. It's just through our filters. This is how we have come to believe. And for me, that unraveling those tangled webs of these limiting beliefs or false beliefs is really the key to going within and accessing our true strength and our ability to deal with some of these situations. We don't have to do it alone. It's perfectly normal, if that's the right word, to, in fact, it's healthy to ask for help. One of the expressions I talk about is we try to be the chief everything officer, the CEO. Well, that's idealistic. Is it realistic? Probably not. And yet, for some reason, some of us are just so driven by that need to be everything to everyone. And I believe that that's one of the ways we undermine our uniqueness. So we undermine our ability and our effectiveness and our impact that we can share with the world. So my next question for you, Maria, is how do you help women get past this fear of these life-changing events?
You know, there's one thing I know for sure. The fear just never really goes away. It's always there. It's actually an emotion that is designed to protect us from doing something that will hurt us. So I've actually developed a pretty healthy respect for the fear when it crops up for me, because I know it's there to help me. So turning around the way we think about fear is one way. And there are also a couple of other techniques that can help kind of put fear in its place. And one is to examine what you're afraid of. You alluded to this a moment ago. What is it you're afraid of? And discover the root cause of it, the source of it. So an example from my childhood, I told you I have 3 older brothers. I lived with the fear of spiders for a very long time. And even today, when I see a spider, that initial sense of fear pops into me. It's visceral. It's a body reaction. And but because I know the source of it, because I remember so clearly my 3 older brothers teasing me incessantly with spiders and about spiders, I know that there's a root cause for that fear. So what I did years ago is I decided to switch the way I thought about it, and I wrote myself an affirmation, which I have said for years every time I see a spider, and that is, I'm bigger than you. You're probably more afraid of me than I am of you. And that just put the control back in my court. And I was able then to just kind of switch the way I think about fear. Another way I help my clients is to think about fear as an emotion that can be replaced. So what would you like to replace fear with? I have a client who was really afraid of speaking in public. And this stemmed from her high school presentation class. She had to give a talk in front of her class, and many of the kids in her class laughed at her through the presentation. And that left her with a sense of not being worthy to present, that she has nothing worthy to say, and then nobody will listen to her if she does.
Oh, that just hurts to even hear you say that.
Oh. I know. It hurt me too.
Oh.
You know, I've had a healthy fear of speaking publicly myself that I've had to get over. And this technique works for me as well. So what we worked on was to discover for her what she could replace that sense of fear with, so that she could prepare in advance, knowing that the fear will come up for her. Because like I said, it's always lurking. It never really goes away, but what we do with it is what makes the difference. So she chose to replace her fear with excitement.
Ooh.
So each time she is a gifted speaker today, But each time she still has that thing, that little voice in her head uh, from high school that says, is anybody really going to care? Is anybody going to pay attention? Are they going to laugh at me? That little voice still comes up for her. So instead, she replaces that feeling of fear with excitement, and she says things to herself like, of course they're going to listen to me. I have something really important to say to these women, and they're going to love it. And I'm excited to be here. And she does that. She prepares herself in advance, and she steps onto that stage or to the front of that room with that excitement and that feeling of fear. You know what it feels like for me? It's like flutters in my chest. Sometimes
Yes.
it's in my stomach, maybe a little heaviness here. And for me, I change what that feeling means, right? That feeling does not mean fear. It means excitement. And when you feel that, when you believe that, then you can get up and you can do it. And as soon as you get into it, that goes away. So those are two ways that I can help women get past the fear of all kinds of situations, not just when they're in, a major life-changing event. Little things happen to us all the time.
Those are great examples. Thank you, Maria. What I'm hearing you say is that rather than seeing fear as a sign of weakness, and then our effort is to deflect it or deny it or ignore it, what I'm hearing you say is that we should really take it as and embrace it because it's serving a useful purpose. And then using that awareness to kind of free us from the fear and open up possibilities for other emotions that we could experience.
Exactly.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So next question. Earlier, you and I were talking about books for both avid readers, but I hear that this is the year of the book for you. So please tell us about that.
I am so excited about this, and I have to tell you, there's a little fear that's going along with it. This has been a remarkable year of the book. So it started late last year, serendipitously, actually. A client of mine suggested that I write a book to share what I've been through, my journey, and what I believe about transition, and what I teach in terms of how to more gracefully get through it. So she planted that seed, and it kind of germinated a little bit, and then I started to nurture it, and I started to write early this year. And then two women approached me to contribute to anthologies that they were collaborating to create. And the first one is called Unscripted: How Women Thrive in Life, Business, and Relationships.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's a great book of short stories by women for women. That was launched on Amazon in April, and I'm just so thrilled to share that there are 41 co-authors in that book. Great short stories, and it went to #1 on Amazon, #1 bestseller in at least 3 categories, maybe 4. So that's just an exciting way to kind of kick off this book of the year.
And what was the title again, please?
It's Unscripted: How Women Thrive in Life, Business, and Relationships.
Excellent. We'll be sure to put that in the post with the at the end of the recording.
Oh, that's great. The next anthology that I was invited to collaborate on is called From Resilience to Brilliance.
I love that too. These titles are awesome.
It's a great title. And there are 14 women in this book. And I'm so excited about this one, especially because I invited the 13 other authors to join me on my show called Tips for the Transition. And they are sharing their transformational journeys from kind of, again, a little dramatic, but from tragedy to triumph. And I do that series twice monthly, and those women are going to be on it. So we're going to launch that book, the Kindle version, in early July, and then the paperback version in late July.
Wow.
So, excited about that. And then just yesterday, I can't believe the timing of this. Just yesterday, I finished writing my book.
Ooh.
Yeah. Actually a huge weight has been lifted because I've gotten through the first full draft of it. So there's still work to be done. And that book is called Upside Down to Right Side Up, Turning Transition into Triumph.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations. That is just so cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am, the book has 3 parts. I'm loving the book. It flowed out of me, which means I just got goosies. That's my sign. My goosies are my sign that it is a good thing. It just feels like it was meant to be. And my client planted the seed, and I've been nourishing it and babying it, and yeah, we're going to launch this in the fall. So the Kindle version, I think, will be in probably mid-September, and the paperback version in mid-October.
Well, I guess this is the year of not the book, but books for you.
Year of books. Yep.
That is just amazing. And when we post the video in the Facebook group, Maria, please put in the links, if you would, for the other 2 books so that our viewers can find them, because I know you'll have some interest there. And you mentioned that you have a group where you've interviewed the other 14 or 13 women. Is this something that our viewers could see?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to share my YouTube channel of those videos. I've been doing the interviewing of women since last August, so we're coming up on a year pretty soon. And I interview women who are inspiring, who inspire us with their own stories, because so often they're telling our story.
Yes.
And it is it's a gift for women. It's a resource for women who are going through tough times and maybe could listen to a video, someone else's story, and know for sure that they are not alone.
That is so important. Thank you for sharing that link. I'll definitely be watching those, because I can speak for myself and hopefully for some of our viewers that we love stories, and we particularly like stories with happy endings.
Yeah, that's what I believe all of our transitions can be. I truly do. I believe that we don't have to struggle. And if we learn along the way tools and techniques that we can put into what I call our treasure chest, then the next time something turns our world upside down, we are prepared. We've used the tool before. We may be, if we're doing it right? If we're integrating it into our lives and it becomes a new habit, those upside down moments are not quite so topsy-turvy. They're just not quite so derailing.
Yes, that's good. Great. Well, you've given us so much helpful, useful information. This isn't just been theory, Maria. You have tangible examples, which I love, because it's very practical and applicable. So in addition to the books that you've shared with us, I understand that you have a gift for our viewers. So please tell us about that.
I do. It's another book. It's another book, but it's a free one on my website. And it's called Even Successful Women Can Get Derailed When Life Happens, 5 Simple Choices to Help You Get Back on Track. This can be very helpful because there are 5 really simple techniques that can be implemented immediately that help you move out of a rut and into motion, which is what I believe gets us started in creating a new adventure. You can find it on my website, which is transitionandthrivewithmaria.com. You'll find the link to the book on the top right of the welcome page. And this will put you on my list. So if you're interested in my series, my video series of interviews, Tips for the Transition, you'll get notification when the next one is being published. And along with that, you'll get notified of my online live workshop series called 5 Petals of Power.
Excellent. Well, and I will put that link too in the post so that our followers, our viewers can connect with you, because that just sounds so important to have. And I love the expression, your treasure chest. That conjures up all sorts of beautiful images. So thank you, Maria, for sharing so much with us today, for being uniquely who you are, and for sharing your gifts with women and with the world, because obviously we need you.
Oh, thank you so much, Susan. It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And I look forward to seeing you again soon.
I do too.
Thank you. Bye for now, audience. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Have a great week.